A pleasure to be here today and see such a nice crowd. I'm really happy to be able to come and talk with you a few minutes. They only allowed me a few minutes, or I'd talk all the evening, but just to warn you a little bit. I wanted to start out with some definitions so we're all on the same page here. And that is that we should know we're dealing with plants. And I put up a plant here, a living multicellular organism. It absorbs the light and photosynthesizes. You're all aware of that. Medicine, a drug or preparation used to treatment or prevention of disease or something else. You know, these are things. And then we have to come down to afflictions, what we're talking about here. Physical, psychological, physiological, and mental problems that limit the fullness of life. And that's what we want everybody to have, is a fullness of life of what life can be. Not to be ill or injured or sick in any way, so we can work on this. I wanted to say that there are three things when we come to use of medicines or medicinal plants for medicine. One of those, of course, is myth, because we have a lot of mythology that's handed down to us about plant material. You know, this is good. How about an apple a day keeps the doctor away? We've all heard that myth. I don't think anybody believes that just an apple a day is going to keep the doctor away. We also have tradition, you know, with something done in the family, it's something done in the neighborhood, and everybody follows it. But we live in an age of science today. Science is the key. Science is the basis. This is what we use for our measurement today. Not mythology, not tradition, but science. It has to be proven. And I think that's probably a good thing. I brought some old advertisements here from back in the early 1900s. I particularly like that, a baby in every bottle, glycinated herbs. How about that swamp fever? What a medicine that must have been, huh? Nice. And over here is the book. And I know everybody looks on Google today to find information, but there are problems. But my generation was raised, we had a book at home, you know, you look up things, you had a sore elbow, what was good for it. But I just wanted to indicate to you that, here's what they had back in the early 1900s, not pictures of the plants. So you could go out into the woods or into the forest and find what you needed to treat yourself with medicine. Well, government does have some good things. Government has some things that we had to be aware of. We had the old medicines in the early 1900s. We've made some progress. And I thought there are some things, and I tried to list them here, I thought that the government does or should be doing in order to see sure that we all have a medicine that we can trust and work with. We have to be aware of the availability, safety, quality, and there may be some other things that I've missed, but those are just some that I sketched out this afternoon. Well, many people are interested in my story with trying to grow marijuana here for studying, okay, for clinical trials. The idea was we'll grow some marijuana under some controlled conditions and use some different selections, and we'll run some clinical trials and see some science. We'll do some science. I'm from the country, okay, and I'm naive. I have to admit that. I'm naive, the country. I thought it was going to be easy. Why? I thought we're just going to go here and we're going to start here. Of course, there'll be a few little rules we have to get through, but we're going to end up here with medical marijuana, and that's where I went. You might notice it's a little bit dark in there. I missed a few things. When I actually got to it, when the lights came on, I found this was amazing. You had all these ropes and places to go through. They weren't. I didn't find just a few things. They threw everything they could at me in order to stop this. They came to campus. You don't mind a story. They came to campus and they wanted to know, where are you going to grow this? Okay, where are you going to grow this? So I showed them a room we have over here in one of the buildings on the university campus. It's about, maybe 3 times the size of that desk, the room. It's a small room. We have some lights in it, and we had temperature control in it, and we grow other plants. And then I said, well, I'm going to dedicate this room to it. Now this room is in Stockbridge Hall, which is made out of concrete. The floors are about that thick of concrete. You can see them going up the elevator. It has cement blocks and concrete all the way around this room. It's just a room. One door in, only one door in. I said, well, I planned on growing it in this room. They said to me, well, you're going to have a video camera outside here so we can see who goes in. You'll have to have a video camera inside the room. I said, okay, no problem. We'll put video cameras in. Okay. Then they said, you're going to have a 24-hour guard. Okay, I said, 24-hour guard, that sounds okay. If that's what it takes, we'll have a 24-hour guard. Sit here by the door, the one door in, okay? Then they said to me, what's behind that back wall? And I gave a truthful answer. I said, well, on the other side of the concrete here, the cement blocks, is a dressing room for a stage upstairs in Bowker Auditorium, for those of you who've been here on campus sometime. They said, well, you're going to have to put up a steel barrier there. I said, okay, but why? They said, well, somebody might go out and rent a jackhammer and jackhammer through the wall. Now I'm looking at this room, about that depth, and I said, won't my 24-hour guard hear the jackhammer going? I thought of... They said to me, they're serious. These people are serious. They said to me, well, they may not. And I said, I have to confess. I said to them, well, you may not know, but you're on a college campus. You can probably go out here in the street and buy marijuana cheaper than you can rent a jackhammer. Now, I thought that was funny. They did not laugh at all. I thought that was funny. So what we have here, instead of we having these, the science, we have, none of these are approved by the U.S. government. We have a problem that we've been talking about tonight. Well, some myths we have to overcome. Some myths we have to overcome. And I just, I like, I don't know if many of you know that Harry Anslinger was head of the Bureau of Narcotics there for a while. And he had some terrible things to say about this. And marijuana is an addictive drug which produces its users insanity, criminality, and death. Anybody dead in here? Careful. Okay. Marijuana leads to pacifism and communist brainwashing. Well, I thought not fighting might be good, but you smoke a joint and you're likely to kill your brother. I had a brother. Sometimes I thought about when we were younger about killing, but not that seriously. He said a lot of things, and these are very educational type of things because they show the attitude of some government agents that we have to deal with. I also put up here something. I was down to the D.C. last week and talking to the about marijuana, and I took some of these out of there. Federally, some of these are from the headlines I've gotten. Feds raid marijuana dispensaries in Colorado, and just about marijuana, and they put even though the federal government said they're going to back off, they can raid a dispensary. Prisoners of war talked about Richard Sherry and Kristen Floor. Richard Floor was a Vietnam veteran who had a medicinal business with marijuana. They arrested him, put him in jail, locked him to the bed, and he died there. His wife was sentenced to jail for a couple years and fined $288,000 because she happened to water the marijuana plants. And that left their daughter to try and hold everything together and pay off the fine and that. So life's ruined. Lives are ruined, okay? Lives are ruined. And so this is a thing we need to fight against. Now, one of the things I thought that we should look at is what's happening to the use of marijuana and the attitude that we have about marijuana. And this is the public opinion. I took this off the Drug Enforcement Administration. I'd read their numbers off the web today. They estimate it's $9,893.09 for cost per arrest. And so that they're arresting a lot of people. I can see where their budget goes. But the legalization, people that are feeling about legalization, you can see there has been a trend up from 1969 to 2013. And what I wanted to say, this is similar to all natural product medicines. So marijuana is following the same type of trend. If we go back to the early 1900s, the drug was accepted. Marijuana was certainly used. You took marijuana to, what did they use? Heroin to get you off marijuana, or marijuana to get you off heroin? I can't quite remember here, but one of those ways. So that is acceptance. But as we moved into the period when we got antibiotics and vaccinations, we gave the natural product medicines were deemed bad. Okay, we had to go into the modern world, in my perspective, modern world. And we kind of hit the bottom here in the 1970s and 80s, and we kind of had a reassessment. And we began to the acceptance of some of these. Of course, people would go to I have stories of people going to the doctor that tell me, and they don't want to tell the doctor they're taking a natural product of any type, but they'd tell the nurse, because the nurse may be more understanding, and the doctor would chew them out, yell at them because they're taking, not taking a modern medicine, but taking a back medicine. But we've moved, we've acknowledged, we've gone to this, and acceptance for all natural products. I think it began about 2004 as my arbitrary time, and I think that we can look at marijuana is certainly being accepted by the public, and undoubtedly will be by the medical field also. Well, where are we? Where are we? We're here. We're here. And I think we need to keep, if we're going to work with this, we need to keep functioning on the medicine side, because we know the challenge is also there's a recreation side. And people are probably still against the recreation side and more for the medicine. I did just a comparison of medical research that's been going on this today. If we look at the studies, the scientific studies, and we talked about science is the age we're in. We're in the science age now. We're not in the Stone Age. We're in the science age. Ginkgo, which I thought was kind of an arbitrary pick here. Ginkgo, of course, for those who are not familiar, helps you blood flow better in the brain so you can think better. We tell all the college students that so that they get excited about that. Ginkgo, from 1970 to the present, 294 research articles on ginkgo, 59 on cannabis. So we have a lot of work to go with cannabis yet in order to catch up with it. We want to move away from this. We want to move away from this. Okay, we want to move towards this. We want to move towards this, and I think it's happening. It's happening because groups like this are pushing for it. It's groups like this that are having a say, and I think that's what we have to keep on that track. My dream is that we're going to have this over the next few years. We're going to have an integrative medicine where we have natural medicine with a herbalist. We're going to have conventional medicine with a pharmacist, and we're all going to be kind of working together to maintain health. To maintain health. And that's where we want to be. So with that, I'm going to disappear into the sunset. I want to thank you very much for listening to me. And if you want to ask me some questions, why, I'll be around here. Thank you very much.